Oh, hey there, peeps. It's Danny Go here. So another episode. So I just put my pet into inventory so I can do the results. Let's actually do those on stream this time. I did finish Mayhem, so that was good. I'm thinking I'm a bit down for the week, but not much. We'll see what happens though. Um, okay. The trend was a little bit down. Okay, so the 70 peds. To be honest, I might have got more MU, although I've been hmm, kind of been taking my sweet time, selling any of those MUs. Mainly those tokens are not the most easy to move. But yeah, I guess we were a tiny bit down, but yeah, it's actually a pretty, pretty solid result. Yeah, I mean, maybe eventually when I sell the MU is actually a positive week, but eh, it's kind of, kind of neither here nor there. It's just kind of a wash, really. And that's like, what is that? What was that again? That's, yeah, 70 peds and plus, but I probably have more MU, so eventually it's pretty much just a wash. Let's do the skills, push back real quick, Entropia, so we can see the skills. I did kind of a mad push on Mayhem. Just I wanted to finish it all this week. Did. There was quite a big skill gain. So let me see. That total is a 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 9. Switch back the results. So you can see that that is 1,456 skills. So that's a pretty big number. I did do a little bit into healing professions. There's some mining there. But yeah, that's just a big skill push. So that's a big number. I don't think I'm going to put down a big number this week. Probably not. Now that I've finished Mayhem. But I mean, my goal, I mentioned 3,000 skills. You think about that. When I mentioned my goal was 3,000 skills, but I was sort of, but I got Mayhem done early. So that was including Mayhem. So, I mean, if it was kind of smooth, it would be 1,000. But I mean, even if I went down to 500, it would kind of be around my sort of 500 is pretty typical. But I mean, I kind of just did a major like get it done on Mayhem. Um, so I'm not really expecting to do too much this week. So I kind of opened up most of my boxes. This is kind of a 2 week total. 88 peds. I guess we have a few to open. I guess those times 100. All right, that's not bad. So yeah, you get these. And I'll have a referral link for this. It gives me a little bit, but it doesn't take away from anything you get. But I've got quite a lot. Um, within the past 6 months, I've got 200 peg crates and a lot of. Let's see if it tells me how much I've gotten out of the game. Withdrawals. See if I can see. So I guess it only shows the last month. The last month. Oh, this one was including 100. It was 171.91. And then I guess a 30-day window, 81, and then almost 45. So you think about that. That's almost 260 pets in the past month. So I mean, obviously my averages probably wouldn't be that high exactly, but even if you take out the 100, I mean, but that does happen sometimes. You take out the 100, that would still be over 150 peds, so, it can really help you out, if you just watch a little bit of these video, and then you can do a crate hunt to get some crates for some ped, and then there's a dungeon where you can earn a little bit more ped too. So I'll have that referral link in the code, and then some other referrals for misplay. I get a lot from misplay. Getting pretty close to my next $10 gift cards. That's 100 pets I can just put into the game. But yeah, enough of that, right? Well, not exactly. I mean, that's kind of the point of it, but I mean, topic, but I mean, more talk about the game and whatnot. So for Atlas Earth, you can collect diamonds, which is like walking around. And I tried to. One thing I didn't realize, I started to realize that the diamonds actually move a little bit over time. So I like, for example, I had a little bit of vacation I took, and I kind of like figured exactly where the diamonds were, and I was gonna do this walk. It was supposed to take like 20 minutes. But I didn't really get around to it till a couple hours later, and then I went on the walk, and like the diamonds were not in the right places, so I spent over 15 minutes walking, which was pretty insane. But the good thing is I realized like, wow, I'm actually doing pretty good, at 15 minutes and then out walking. But I did discover that diamonds actually move over time. It's very slow, so they don't like change. But if you wait a few hours, yeah, they move. So I moved a few streets, multiple directions. So I was all lost when I was out walking. I was on the wrong streets, and but it was cool to learn that. But it was also more cool that I spent 15 minutes out walking. So that, I'm doing that. Yeah, it's pretty good, I would say. 99%. That's awesome, right? Um, okay. So we're just gonna shoot some Pfeffoids. Hopefully get some MU. Ooh, we probably need to switch. Oh, we switched the game. Okay, that's cool. But yeah, it's good. My taxes weren't nearly as bad as I thought. Took, decent write-off loss, but my actual interest and dividends were way more than the write-off. I was actually surprised. Surprised how much I actually had a number of positions which were actually kind of covered some of the write-off. I was surprised how many good trades I had, but it's still kind of ugly. But I mostly just moved to short-term income, recently. Being that you're getting like 5%, I'm just not dealing with this stuff anymore. So almost all my investments are basically just, other than old ones that I'm just sticking with, are just short-term 5%. I'm okay with that. Don't feel like dealing with it anymore. The good thing about that, there's really just no downside risk. It's all just, I mean, you're just collecting 5%, There's no risk of capital loss, no risk of capital gain, or not a risk, but no benefit of capital gain. But you're basically like, if you're willing to, in this rate environment, if you're willing to just accept 5%, and I kind of just am, I'm like, okay, I mean, the thing is like, you could say, well, maybe it's not keeping up with inflation, but the thing is, it doesn't really matter. or I mean, I guess it's keeping up with inflation, but I mean, you'd say you're maybe not gaining versus inflation. But the point is like, I mean, let's say your expenses, I don't know. I'm a pretty, I don't, but let's just throw out numbers. I'm not even gonna use my numbers. I'll just throw out numbers. Maybe these are my numbers, maybe they're not. Just throw out numbers. For example, let's say your expenses are $30,000 a year, and inflation's 4%. Your your inflation that you're experiencing is 4% of 30%. See, and this is something that this kind of actually, when I realized this, it's like you don't even need to worry about it. I mean, the point is though, is like, but if like your investments are 100,000 and at 4%, you think, oh well, you're not really gaining. Well, no, actually, you're gaining quite a lot because your expenses are only. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that you want to only keep up with inflation, but you can actually make a lot of money if you're simply covering inflation with your investments and not having any loss. Because I mean, this just the point of it is that if your expenses are 30,000, for example, and you're inflating at 4%, that's a fixed amount of money that your expenses are inflating. Whereas if your investments are just at 100,000, and these are not actually my numbers at all, they're very different. They're different. Yeah, they're very different actually. But anyway, if your investments are 100,000 and you're inflating at 4%, that's much bigger actual money. So you're actually gaining money. You don't actually really need to. If you have enough investments, you don't actually have to even beat inflation. If you're just covering inflation, you're actually making significant gains because your investments are significantly greater than your budget. My investments are about 20. Are they 20 times? I don't know. They're quite a lot more than my. It's not even close. Like many years. 15, 20 plus years. So, if I'm simply keeping up with inflation, I'm covering, making quite a lot of ground. I don't even need to worry about it. But anyway, random. Sorry. Not just like I don't even want to spend time doing it anymore. Thinking about things. I mean, I should probably just like not be an idiot and just buy like a cheap S&P 500 thing. But I just, I don't know. Guess I like to make it hard. I mean, the good thing is that, I got out and invest. I mean, that's the biggest thing is if you just got to get out and invest, because if you get out and invest, good things will happen. Unless you just got to invest wisely, I mean, and mostly I have, done some stupid stuff every once in a while, but, for the years it's been quite good. So that's the biggest thing. You just got to get out and do it. I mean, and, I mean, I think just really probably like low cost index funds like the S&P 500 over time. This is not financial advice, it's just random opinions of a guy who has no idea what he's doing. But probably is a good idea, but I don't know. Maybe not because I don't know what I'm doing and it's not financial advice, but I don't know. I just think get out and do it. All right. Twin keeps it going. When is Twin gonna end? That's okay. Still getting a little bit, you know, it's a little bit on icing on top. I spent a lot of time on Cyrene. A lot of time. But it was good. I actually yeah, I think it was good. Happy with it. I need to maybe, you know, get in some Mind Force. Feels like I'm hitting okay. I'm not hitting anything major, but it feels okay, you know. A lot of small positives. I mean, obviously a lot of small negatives too, but I mean it doesn't feel like feels pretty decent just from a gut feeling, you know. That one's like almost, that was probably 10 ped. Yeah, it's going pretty decent. So yeah, these have like cold, so gotta I don't really have cold on a lot of my armor parts. Um Really weird. So I tried to craft some Cyrene plates. Oh, okay. There's a daily for cold plates, and I realized, hey, it's actually pretty pretty good XP. So, I have a friend who kind of is interested, but I can probably get them later. I don't think they're that in a hurry. Maybe I can just throw some cold on this. Let's see. I don't know. I don't mind healing today. Maybe another time I'll use cold plates. I don't know how committed I am to doing a bunch of Mind Force, but I'm trying to do a little bit. Maybe if you just do a little bit every day of something, if it's not your main thing. I mean, I'm out here hunting anyway, so just mix in just a little bit of Mind Force and then go back to the guns. I think that'll be fine. I should really mix in some swords, 100%, but or knives. I don't really have a knife sword. I mean, I do, but not a big one. You know, got Labries. I think it's my biggest. I used to kind of have a Philosopher sword, but I sold it. Now I have 2 daggers. Kind of wish I hadn't sold that sword, to be honest. But well, I mean, yeah, and it's neither here nor there. You know, I think I, made some ped selling it. So, some ways I wish I had it. I mean, in some ways I just have too many weapons. You know, I think that it would be. It's kind of like in a sort of ideal situation. I don't know that I would have less weapons. I would just have maybe slightly different weapons than I have. You know, like some of the ones I have maybe are a little bit duplicative. So if I had maybe a few that maybe there are 3 or 4 weapons that I have. If I sold them and I got 3 or 4 different weapons that weren't necessarily more expensive, just a little more. Ooh, nice. That's 31-ish beds. Yeah, that would be good. You know, if I had a sword, that would be cool. It's neither here nor there. I'd like to get a global, maybe even a Hoff. Is it too much to ask? Probably is. My Narc is like, no Hoffs for you. Actually, when I said last time I had 1 Hoff, I actually was in 2 Hoffs. I was in an advisor that was like 33,000 peds. There were like 11 people. And I got, 3,000 out of it. So it was, I kind of did an average damage actually. I mean, I think that there were some real big shooters there, so they probably got a big percent, but there were definitely some people less than me. So, there are 11 people, 33,000. I got, 3,000. I guess I was pretty much an average for the damage there at that time. But that was pretty good. So that was, a group off I was part of. And then I was also got a solo 1,000 ped Hoff. Oh no, I actually got another Hoff too. Yeah, I got a Hoff in Hell on what is that? Code Demons or something. And then I also got 1,000 ped Hoff on Chub. I forgot that one. But even still, 5,000 peds on Hoff based on my cycle is really actually pretty bad. But it's okay. I'm not gonna. I guess I do complain, but I'm actually doing pretty well in the game, Especially because I've now bottomed out pretty much. And it's not always nice to be bottomed out, but I'm not really suffering losses anymore. You go back to that trend line, I mean, since the onset of twin weapons, I would say, okay, so, I think end of December, that's, basically at that point, we had really got all those twin weapons out there, or most of them, and that was my absolute bottom, 7, 8, 3, 8, and since then it's actually slightly improved, but you can basically see since the onset of the twin weapons, I think I'm just completely bottomed out pretty much between 7, 8, 3, 8 and what's my high? 6 something. Well, I mean, 6'9". I mean, technically they were in here. In one of those weeks there was like 6'5"-ish, I guess 6'5". So the I don't think anything was worse than the 7. That was actually the worst. The range is 1300 peds. And I'm kind of toward the middle of the range actually. I guess, yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, yeah, it's ballpark toward the middle of that range. So, I mean, and that's been a 4-month range. Well, I guess I was actually at 6'4", 6'3". But I mean, it's neither here nor there. It's basically the same. But yeah, I mean, basically, it's a yeah, pretty much still a 1400, 1500 head range, and I'm approximately toward the middle of it. And I don't really see that. I mean, based on what I think's going on, I don't really see anything really changing. Obviously, but that does come back to what I'm doing. And I know this is maybe a little bit. Um, oh, for returns, I tried doing that. I know some people had suggested it. I had a method, and it should have worked. I just I'm just incompetent, and also I just do like 20 different changes a day. Honestly, it's just too much to track, and I failed it, and so I gave up on that. But so what I'm doing basically, I'm getting ped from sources. I'm buying deeds, essentially because I got a 9 ped, essentially because I think it's going to just be a long sort of and just I just see this as kind of like if this was I don't know if I want to use those sort of analogies, but um it's just like this is just gonna be over the same ground again and again and again. It's a game of inches here basically, and it's going to be that way for a while. So in a game of inches, I may as well play a game of inches. So I'm putting the pet in. You can see now that we've got into this range bound thing, and you see I only buy deeds now. And now so the pet I get, the actual income from the deeds, I just put it into my pet card, and that kind of goes into my essentially it does go into this. I mean, it helps it, so it does help my game. But basically, like if I get, you know, 50 peds from a streamer, or looks like I've got, what I mean, all those peds I was getting from Ludius, I'm putting in those into deeds. So I've got 92 peds. I should be able to get that 93 basically in Ludius right now. I should be able to, put that into deeds. So what I do is I keep a total of it as I go. Technically at -1, so I've a little bit overspended. But for example, I get 90 peds out today-ish, or 93. I'll put that 93 in here, and then I'll buy deeds. What would that be like? I could buy 2 Cali deeds, 9 New Treasure Island deeds, and then, basically my goal is between all the different sources is to get up to a total deed count of 30,000 pets of deeds. I mean, my time frame for that doesn't really matter. That's just the goal, however long it takes. I would estimate I can do it within 3 years. But I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just however quickly it goes or doesn't go. However quickly it goes or doesn't go. That's just kind of my estimate. I don't think it can do it in 2 years. Might be able to do it in 3 years. If it takes 4 years, that's fine. If it takes 5 years, that's fine. We're just playing. But yeah, so basically all the pet that I get in from misplay, Twitch streamers, Ludius, Playpoint Games, stuff like that. It goes into that fund. The fund buys, it's an accounting thing. The fund, it goes in the fund. The fund buys deeds, and then the deeds pay into that. So, and I don't know what happens when I get to there is something else I may do, and I'm just gonna like one of the things that I do think is that the game does account for how much you've put into the game. So that I keep expanding what I'm putting into the game. I think it's not bad, but I think that it knows how much I've depoted, and I do think that's part of the just my gut is it's part of the calculation. So as I'm expanding, that also enables a further drop in the line. So one of the things I'm considering is actually like some of these sources like misplay. Because my goal is to hold it at 6,000, but you see actually during my Twitch stream I was actually at points sort of not withdrawing. Well, I mean the income, which is for the game, I was actually kind of writing off against taking money out of the game. Like obviously the misplay money I make for the game, but I may just like put it in a savings account or something, and I can just write it off of that total because it's money for the game. But actually I wasn't supposed to go. I mean, not that there's anything, but I was saying that I wasn't going to go above 6,000 heads in or $6,000 in the game, and I actually went up to 6,240. So I may actually just start like some of that money from misplay and Atlas. I may actually just put it in a savings account and move this down to because it's money that I'm doing for the game. But I may just do that to sort of move me back my basis down to 60,000 pets, or maybe even high 5,000. I don't perceive any reason to go above high 5,000s. But I mean, the thing is that I think is that as I'm putting money into the game, the more money I put into the game, I think it's allowing this baseline to fall even further, which is not bad. But on the other hand, simply just some of the pet I'm getting just simply just use it to offset the money I've actually already put in the game. Might actually make a lot of sense to sort of the financial equivalent of a share buyback. So yeah, some of the I've put a lot of share into the game. So some of these funds that would traditionally that I'm making for the game, I'm just gonna use them as a share buyback actually, and I could later depot in and change the line higher if I wanted to. But the point is, I don't want to go above 6,000. Although some caveats to that, within a few years I might start increasing my baseline again. Not by well, I definitely want to be less than $1,000 a year. So I'm like a little bit over 4 years in the game. So well, I guess this will be by the end of this year, this will be my 5th year, and then the next year would be my 6th year. So 2024, by the end, I started basically in January so I'm at the very sort of, I've completed 4 years, so this will be my 5th year by the end, and then 2026, by December 26, I'll play 6 years basically. So I don't want to go above $1,000 per year, but I actually don't even want to do that. I want to actually decrease like the spend. I mean, maybe in 2027 I'll put. I mean, hypothetically, if I wanted, I could put $500 in. I mean, I could do a lot more. Obviously, I've got a lot of money. I just don't want to put that much in. But I could maybe at that point, if I wanted, consider putting like $500 a year in if I wanted to. I mean, it just to me the money. It's not about the money. It's about like my experience. Because just like kind of how I am. I understand that like certain things, like psychologically for me, cause me to become like a little bit bitter, you know? So that's just something I have to watch, is that like if I put like, if I put $2,000 a year in the game, and see if I put $1,000 a year in the game and it's not going well, to me that's just like it's okay. I'm not going to be bitter about it. But if I put $2,000 a year into the game, and even though I could very much afford that, if I put $2,000 a year into the game and it's not going well, I could actually feel kind of bitter. Um, even though there's no, it's just a weird psychological thing, and like, um, you know, um, so yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I mean, even still, like, but like to me also, it's like, and there's also just something like psychologically 6,000 in the game doesn't, seem like a lot. But if I just start pumping like even after the 6 year mark, if I just start pumping like $1,000 in a year, it starts to feel like a lot. Like, do you really need to pump $1,000 a year in forever? So I mean, and so to me, a lot of that, this is just kind of that those sort of numbers are kind of my psychological, mm, based on my psychological makeup. I don't have any need to be free to play, but if I'm putting in $2,000 a year, I feel like an idiot. Especially if it's not going well. If I mean, I could easily afford to put $2,000. I could afford to be at $10,000. I could afford to have 30,000. I could afford to have $50,000 in the game. I mean, I don't. I mean, 50. I should be more wise with money than 50,000. But I could easily, wildly afford to have double what I have in the game and not even notice. But um, but at that point, if I had 12,000 in the game, $12,000 in the game, and it's not going well, I just kind of know I might start to feel a little bitter about it. And so, um, it's just kind of, I know it's weird. Whatever. But I might do just kind of not expand my basis. Well, and that's also one of the problems I think is with my Twitch stream, is that I vastly expanded my basis, but I didn't get a lot out of my basis. You know, for example, I think I gave out over 8,000 pets to viewers, and I only kept like 6,000 pets for myself. So, that means my basis expanded by 14,000 pets, but I only got 6,000 pets of benefit. So I think it really increased the potential of my negative bottom line without wildly, increasing the amount I have to play with. Which that's not negative at all. I mean, that was definitely positive for me, but it is something that I do realize is that, or I sense is that as I put more money into the game, it increases the basis of my potential loss. So, kind of going back there that because I've been off this a while, if I take some of those funds, if I'm getting $10 from misplay, I can just throw that into a savings account. I already did some of that for Twitch. Well, mostly it was just with the tax part, the taxable part. I actually just threw that into like a high yield savings account. So I already have the high yield savings account. Um, and some of the the taxable portion is there for the Twitch part that I'm paying taxes on. But and I'm just going like way too much. But yeah, I may write that off down, and I may do about at least I probably will. I'm probably going to do about at least 2,500 peds and get it down to just below 6,000. I think that's a pretty reasonable goal. So I'll probably do that. Now, how much I do that or how little, I don't know. It'll kind of be a balance. I mean, obviously, I think that I need to get that deed count higher, and that's kind of a priority. But on the other hand, I probably do some of both actually. But I mean, I'm also getting quite a lot, from sources where I couldn't just put it into a bank account, so it would be, you know, I'll just see what happens. But and that's just some of the more nitty-gritty of the accounting. Probably more than you wanted. I mean, essentially, it's a way of doing I mean, a withdrawal would be a way of taking out of the game, but you're paying the withdrawal fee and it's taking forever. Whereas here, it's kind of a more informal because those funds that were supposed to go into the game, and instead of that, because you created them for the game, you just kind of take it out as your withdrawal essentially, and that reduces my baseline in the game. Although I mean it does and it doesn't, but it doesn't actually reduce my baseline in the game, but it. I guess it's just an accounting thing, but my mother actually was an accountant for a while, so probably have some thought processes that relate to like how an accountant thinks, I guess. I guess I have quite a lot of thought process that relate to how an accountant would think. I mean, it's not for some weird reason it's actually important to me. I know it's kind of messed up, but it just is. Hmm. Well, I mean, we've got some minis, a lot of good hits, no big ones, but I mean, it's been a good hunt. I don't think we've lost anything. If we did, it was very little. I don't think we really gained anything either. It's kind of just how it's been. It's been like a big draw. Everything is like, it's like, yeah, we gained a lot of skills, but nothing really happened. But we had fun. So as long as we have fun, it doesn't matter if nothing happens, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, skill boost. How much? 101%. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe we will go Uber big gun just to try to power that. See how much we can get off of that. 101% is pretty good. Try to pump those skills. Hmm. Okay, a lot of decent hits still. I'll probably call it a video after the skill boost is up. Oh, but yeah, if you did make it this far, you could like the video, maybe follow, maybe even leave a comment. That just helps raise the visibility of my videos, help people find them. That's really appreciated. I appreciate you guys for sure. So we've got just over a minute now. The boost. Then once that's over, call it a video. Somehow got to nearly 50 minutes. Guess that's the last one for the boost. Alright, I'll call that a video. Till next time, guys. Hope you have good luck in the game. Alright, have a great one.